From different parts of Kenya, a live studio audience is about to shoot unscripted questions. This is Agenda Kenya with Jason Nyantino.
On Agenda Kenya tonight, Honorable Mutava Musyimi, Presidential Hopeful and Member of Parliament, Gashoka. Professor Atemu Micheka, former Vice Chancellor, Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, JKUAT. And last but not least, Maimuna Mwidau, Consultant in Gender and Democracy. Many thanks for joining us and welcome to Agenda Kenya with me, Jason Nyantino. Tonight on this program, we focus on various governance issues as the country prepares for the next general election. I've got audience members from Nairobi County, Nakuru County, and all the way from Isiolo County. Welcome aboard. Our first question is from Reverend Njeru, who is a clergyman from Nakuru.
Yes, my question goes to Professor Atemu Micheka. During your tenure as the CEO of NEMA, the national forest cover went down from 11% to 2%. And in particular, the Mau forest was almost completely depleted. What are you going to do different when you're elected to make sure that we conserve the environment?
I joined NEMA in the year 2003, and the Kenya and its forests were there all years back. The reality is that any country should have not less than 10% of forested land within its confines. When I joined NEMA, the forest that we had was about 1%, less than 10% specific. So really there had been deforestation many years backward, and after realizing the problem is getting worse, is where now everybody started saying we are actually having problems of deforestation countrywide. So when I joined there, the forest still was depleted. People realized the major headaches. I did articulate the issue of environmental problems, including pollution, degradation, soil erosions, etc. And we ended up now really being serious about the environment.
Is there any specific program or project that you initiated?
I did initiate, in fact, a lot of projects that are now in existence.
Just share with us some of them.
The Mau one was really written by us when I was in NEMA to the ministry, to the parent Ministry of Environment. Ones that cover the Mount Kenya ones, alongside our Nobel Prize winner, late Professor Wangari Maathai. Others are really even the ones on Nairobi cleanup at that time. Programs take longer, quite a long period of time to mature. So they were initiated just about my time. They are now being seen. Even the articulation, the talk about deforestation, degradation of environment were actually initiated just about my time, 2003, 2004, 2005 is when we even produced the first State of Environment report, which tells every county, including Isiolo, Nakuru, Nairobi, where we are at when we joined NEMA at that particular point in time.
How long were you in NEMA?
About 4 years.
About 4 years.
Yes.
Can you, just in a nutshell, your tenure in NEMA, was it illustrious? Was it good or bad? In your view?
In my view, my tenure in NEMA was extremely interesting. Problems of all types that face the nation, from construction to degradation to soil erosions, and therefore it was a mix of feelings. You have to deal with all types of developers, including those who want to put a house, say, on top of a river, telling him or her that this cannot be done. So to answer your question precisely is that it was a mix of reactions because of various interests of persons from the Republic of Kenya wanting to even continue deforest some areas more than that. Therefore, it was a very challenging and interesting program. That's in fact why it still has some problems environmentally here at this point in time.
Okay. Mheshimiwa, you had Land and Natural Resources Committee in Parliament, don't you?
I do indeed, yes.
In terms of policy, you've heard what Professor said. Do we have the right policies in place in terms of protecting our forests?
I'm not sure we are moving as fast as we could. The minister responsible for this is Honorable Wekesa, Dr. Noah Wekesa. And I know that he has a draft policy and a draft bill, as far as I can know, that has yet to go through cabinet. We have gone through it with him as a committee, but it has not come to the floor of the House as yet. So it really is not the property of our people until it goes through cabinet, then goes through parliament. I
think parliament, Mheshimiwa, is very funny. There's always a draft. You know, every time you ask a mom, there's a draft being prepared. These drafts they never get ready.
Well, the draft bills are normally originated by ministers. Of course, a committee can originate a bill. A member of parliament can initiate a private member's bill. But this is something we've been working on with Honorable Wekesa for the last 2-3 years. We have tried to tell him we want to see that bill on the floor of the House yesterday. It hasn't happened. But we've put that case across to him enough times. The last was a retreat we had in Mombasa, I think about 3 months ago. Another one we had in Naivasha said the same thing about two years ago. So when bills take long, it is the cabinet that has to take responsibility, the ministers, because the bills bear the name of the minister responsible for that particular portfolio.
All right, I hope if you're elected president, you'll sort that out. My next question is from Emmanuel Wafula Wekesa, who is a student.
Thank you. My question goes to Maimuna. It's alleged that you're in support of the outlawed MRC. Can you please confirm it? And if so, can you say you have the spirit of nationalism in you? And still, how will MRC affect this nation economically?
Okay, thank you very much. That's a very good question. I come from Mombasa County, and I don't think the allegations are true that I support MRC. I support MRC issues. The issue that MRC has been raising is the issue of land that is common to the rest of the country, so the issue is a real issue. As, in terms of the strategy the MRC is using, that's a different debate altogether. But I do support the issue of land, and it does affect the rest of the country, not coast alone. So the issue of nationalism, yes, I'm a Kenyan, I hold a Kenyan citizenship. I hold a Kenyan ID. So definitely I'm a Kenyan, I'm a national, because when I discuss issues, I discuss national issues. So land issue is a national issue. It is not just an MRC issue. And you travel to any part of the country, go to Turkana, the people are complaining about land and their own resources. Go to eastern Kenya, the problem is the same. So the land issue is not specifically an MRC issue, but it is a national issue.
Let me get you clearly, Maimuna. You're saying you don't support MRC, but you support MRC issues.
Absolutely.
So where do you draw the line? Because if they stand for those issues you are raising, then principally you support them.
I definitely support their issue because they are issue-oriented. They are not talking about coast people as a tribe, as a people. They are talking about a national issue, that we have had land for a very long period of time, but we have been denied an opportunity. So I definitely support that. So the strategy of going about agitating for that issue is wrong. Yeah?
Government says MRC is illegal. What is, in your view, what is illegal about MRC?
According to government, calling for cessation is illegal. Yeah, that's the legal aspect of it. But agitating for the rights to your resources and land and opportunity, that's not illegal. That's very legal. And that's not unique to Kenya too. It is not the first time in this world or in this generation that you've heard of a specific section of a country wants to secede. Ethiopia had Eritrea. And it all boils down to being deprived an opportunity to use your resources, to be part of that nation. Okay. Now, if you are deprived that opportunity, I, as a coastal person, I can speak as a coastal person, I feel like I'm not part of the nation. And you can see recently the KPA saga. Now, does that reflect nationalism? Does that reflect the Kenya that we want? I think you know the answer.
All right. Thank you, Maimuna, for that response. My next question is from Ken Sawe, who is a marketer. You'll have time. If you can drop in a word when I give you time next. There's no problem. Ken Sawe, you're next. You're a marketer.
My question is, the Minister for Trade recently appointed members of the board to the Kenya Ports Authority from one ethnic group. Was it justified? And secondly, why haven't you come out strongly to condemn such an issue, and yet you are planning to become the next president of Kenya?
All right. I think that should be Minister for Transport, Honorable Kimunya.
We should always get the best people, but the best people are everywhere. We cannot imagine that the best people only come from a certain part of Kenya. So it cannot be right. The struggle for reforms, those of you who have followed the history, was about the struggle for the distribution of power to all communities and distribution of resources to all communities. And that includes appointment to institutions like KPA. I don't know why we are taking so long to get it, but it cannot be right. That,
so what do we expect from Honorable Mutava Musyimi now that this problem has occurred?
Well, I've been asked a question and I've given an answer. I hadn't dealt with it before, but I am saying that my own view on these matters is very, very simple. I have stood against ethnicity in all my public life that spans nearly 3 decades, and there is no way that I can support the idea that you come from one community, the minister comes from that community, and those that will get elected or appointed also come from that community.
Yeah,
I just think
clearly
it's wrong.
you don't support it, but now, what do we do about it? I mean, you're even running for president, Honorable.
Yes.
So we expect solutions from you.
When the time comes to vote, because I think that's what you're asking me, please get leaders, enlightened leaders, people of integrity, people who are inclusive, people of values, people that are bankable. We have gotten all sort of excited about the groups we belong to, feeling marginalized, and eventually we end up becoming the property of the wealthy and of the powerful from our communities. And what we are saying, certainly in my campaign, the time has come, I believe, for Kenyans to vote for themselves. The time has come for people to vote for leaders who will stand with you on your agenda, regardless of where you come from. That time has come. Otherwise, we will lose this country to a few rich, powerful people and a few rich, powerful families.
Thank you for that. We take a short break now, but stay with us. Don't go away.